Go Jackets.
Good afternoon, all. Welcome to WreckTalk. So, the news with tech just keeps rolling in with recruiting. We've now signed 4-star. I'm calling him a 4-star. I don't care what 247 says. Wide receiver Kobe Young, which brings our class into the top 25 on Rivals. Now, it's still at 30. And it might have fallen a little bit below there now on 247. Suffice to say, I am pleasantly surprised with where recruiting is up to this point. Now, if you haven't watched Sea-Dog's video, he did an excellent video on Tip of the Iceberg with recruiting and Brent Key. And he's right, stars do matter, 100% they do. But I think at Tech we're going to have to find the right players, and I kind of feel like we might kind of have to do like a money ball situation where we're finding inherent value in recruits that no one else really sees. Now, I'm not saying that you settle for 3-star recruits, but really for this recruiting cycle, that's probably what you're going to have to do, but it is great to land a big-name kid out of Louisiana that had offers from LSU and other big schools. And that's the most exciting thing for me is all of a sudden we're winning recruiting battles against schools that we just don't. I mean, we don't beat LSU in recruiting battles very often. Now, it's not the end of the story. Some of these kids may flip. I hope not. But also there might be some 4-stars that we've already signed that are rated as 3 stars currently. They still have, a season of high school football to play, so it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. Now, before we get into the main topic of the video, first of all, shout out to T-Branch 227, I believe, becoming the first member of the WreckTalk channel. If you haven't seen T-Branch, I put out a members-only community post with the Discord link. If you join the Discord, I'll add you to the members-only chat where you can make video suggestions. You're the only one right now, so I'll have to take your suggestion for the month. T-Branch will also be the only one in the live chat with the custom emojis and whatnot. Now, if you want to become a member of the channel, look right below the title of the video. There's a button for that. Supports the channel and it helps us out. If you want to support the channel in other ways, there's a PayPal link in the description and a CashApp link in the description. Up to this point, every bit of money that's been donated, I've put right back into the channel. And I have big plans. I just reached out to an editor to do a bunch of things: new banner, new logo, new intro. We're going to do a hype video for the 2024 season. All these things cost money, and your donations are certainly appreciated. Also, all live shows and videos that make sense, such as this one, will now be on Spotify and I think every other major podcast platform. So if you just want to listen to this while you're at the gym, while you're driving, while you're working, and you don't want to use YouTube, you can definitely get them on Spotify as well. So let's get into it. I want to talk about Buster Faulkner and what this Georgia Tech offense will look like. Now, last year, the Georgia Tech offense, I think, was ranked 114th in the country, which is pretty awful. The wins we were able to get last season really came off the heels of our defense and our offense doing barely enough to get us across the finish line. Now, our offense was much improved after Key took over. Seems like I'm not exactly sure when Winky took over play calling responsibilities, but it was much improved. And it was definitely apparent there was some kind of major change made. So I saw from the Rumble Seat article, I forget how long ago or how old this was. I'll put it in the description of the video as well as the AJC article I'm looking at. And the author was, he talks about being kind of perplexed about the hire of Buster Faulkner. He wasn't super high on the hire of Buster Faulkner. He more was looking for kind of a proven Power 5 OC or fired head coach. In fact, I think, what's his name? Seth Luttrell was the guy Seth Luttrell, fired head coach of North Texas, which I'll be honest, I don't agree with, and I don't really get that take. I personally think Buster Faulkner is a great fit for Georgia Tech and what they want to do, particularly his recruiting ties and his ability to develop quarterbacks. I mean, we kind of have an all-star staff for developing quarterbacks, and you're seeing that. I think with the quarterback recruits we've signed, and the kid from Texas and Prince Avenue, Aaron Philo, and Graham Knowles, I think they're going to be really good on the flats. Graham Knowles, if you haven't seen the interview Bryce Kuhn did with him on the Crowded Booth, he talks about playing in 6A in Texas. Probably the toughest competition you're going to see in the country. So, and he does acknowledge it. The thing is, with the financial situation at Tech, you're not going to go out there and grab, a top Power 5 coordinator name like Clemson did with Riley, or even like what happens at Alabama, where a coach in a major Power 5 program will be fired and they bring him in as coordinator. We're just not in a position to do that. So, again, I'm kind of in this Moneyball mentality where we're going to have to get someone that's overlooked or up and coming that people don't see the value in, and incorporate them into what Georgia Tech is doing. And I think Buster's great for that. Now, if you look at all the times Buster's been OC, I'm talking about Southern Miss, Middle Tennessee State, Arkansas State. Not all of those offensive numbers are eye-popping. He had some seasons that weren't necessarily great. Now, I don't know what all happened. Maybe there was injuries. Maybe wasn't able to get the recruits in to run the offense. I will say this. He's run an air raid offense, though, everywhere he's been OC. Very pass-heavy. And that's what is kind of exciting. Now, I don't think we're going to run a straight air raid at Georgia Tech. I do think we're going to pass far more than we run, though. It's going to be a pass-first offense. I think that's why you're seeing such a focus on wide receiver right now. I mean, think of all the wide receivers that Georgia Tech has had come in. We're talking about Chase. It started off with Chase Lane, right? From Texas A&M, who helped bring over Haynes King to create this quarterback battle that we have right now. That's great. Dominique Blaylock from UGA comes over, a guy that's injuries have really hampered his ability to reach his potential up to this point. And the kids that we have, I mean, Malik Rutherford seems to be poised to replace a Nate McCullum who went to North Carolina. We bring in the kid from Norcross, Zion Taylor. I mean, there's just, the Boyd kid. A ton of depth all of a sudden at wide receiver. And, not to mention for 2024, we just signed 4-star kid out of Louisiana. All of a sudden, we're recruiting well out of Louisiana. It appears that Ricky Brumfield has some ties there that we're able to take advantage of. The interesting thing with the pass-heavy offense and Buster Faulkner is how that's going to meld with Josh Crawford, who's the wide receiver coach. He also is kind of expertise in an air raid offense and developing wide receivers in that offense. I think that in conjunction with those two, and Buster's saying Norville McKenzie's one of the best teachers at the running back position that he's seen. Norville's someone who's hitting the recruiting trail, extremely passionate, a guy that we convinced to leave his alma mater at Vanderbilt to come over. All these pieces that we have in place seem to fit very nicely together to really get the Georgia Tech offense to take a major step up. Now, where it's going to have to take the biggest step is offensive line. Quarterback is kind of an unwritten, right? Like, you've got to have the quarterback position playing well. I don't know much about Jeep Wade. I mean, coming from App State, but I do know that Brent Key has coached national title winning offensive lines, and him and Jeep Wade, well, let me say it this way. Brent Key really being able to work on the offensive line with Jeep Wade, not being hampered with the way Collins was wanting to run the program. And I'm not harping on that or going back. I'm just saying that a criticism of Key has been, well, look, our offensive lines haven't been very good in the past. Well, let's see how he does at the helm when he gets to do things his way. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised. Also, we had a 5-star Josh Petty on campus yesterday. And we've got a 4-star, I think, offensive tackle that we've made his top 5. So I am really excited to see particularly how Georgia Tech's offense runs. I think with everything we have, it's not unreasonable for Tech to be in the top half or top third of offenses in the country. I know a lot of people think I'm delusional. I'm just saying I think that we have all the right pieces in this staff to take a major step up in offense. Whoever starts at quarterback, Haynes King or Zach Pyron, I think is going to be what we need. Like, we're not going to be disappointed with either one of them. Both of them are very talented. We haven't seen much of Haynes King. Again, this is a kid that really hasn't lived up to his potential, but the ceiling is very high. And with Zach Pyron, we interviewed him on the channel. If you haven't seen that interview, go back and watch it. Just a very headsy – he's a winner. I mean, that's what I see when I see Zach Pyron. The kid is a winner. So, we also bring 16 transfers in to fill the holes in our roster that we need to fill. I mean, we've lost a ton, particularly on offense. We lose, Nate McCullum, Malachi Carter. We lose like 3 of our top 4 wide receiver production. We've lost a good bit on offensive line with people transferring or retiring for football. We lose our leading rusher in Hassan Hall. But I think Dante Smith, that's the kid I'm really, I think is going to turn heads the most on offense. I think Dante Smith is going to have a breakout season. I think he's a very talented running back. So, again, I don't think that we'll run an air raid offense. I think Buster's going to take what he learned in the staff at UGA. And look, I don't like it either, but they have had a ton of success in the years that Buster Faulkner has been there. Buster Faulkner was a major component in the development of Stetson Bennett and what he was able to do at Georgia, and really getting Stetson to play, I think, well above his potential. I mean, the kid was a walk-on and, had a ton of success at UGA. So, and that's the other thing. Winky in conjunction with Faulkner, Winky in conjunction with Crawford, Key in conjunction with Faulkner. Like, all of these things they seem like puzzle pieces that are fitting very nicely together for the Georgia Tech offense to take a huge step up in the 2023 season. Now, I think I sent a tweet out earlier today. If you're not following me on Twitter, it's at @rec_talk. Definitely follow me on Twitter. All of those are in the description of the video. I'm excited. I think we're 70 days now, 70 or 71 days from kickoff. I'll be at the Benz. Hope to see you all there, and y'all have a great rest of the day.